Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have David. David is from Pretoria in South Africa. So let's see what David has to say. Enjoy the interview. Oh,
There we go.
yes, I can hear you now. Hello,
How are
David.
you? Hi.
I'm, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. And yourself?
Very good, very good. It's Friday today. It feels good. It's a good feeling when it's
Yeah.
Friday.
Yes, it is. It is. Although we've got a cold front this night, so it's a freezing Friday night here.
So tell me, about the power cuts that's been happening in South Africa. So actually, for a while now, I had a few guests from South Africa, and most of them we had the same issue about changing time because of the power cuts. So it's been happening a lot now.
Yeah, it's been something that's been going on for a couple of years, actually.
Mhm.
Although the last, I'd say, probably 2 years, it increased a lot more. So the power cuts have been a lot more often and a lot longer lately. But yes.
So tell me where in South Africa you come from.
I'm from Pretoria, uh, one of the three capitals. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Pretoria.
Pretoria, it's actually a very quiet city. It's a very relaxed city. It's well, between Pretoria and Joburg, they're very well known for their jacaranda trees,
Okay.
which is at one point during the year they go into bloom, and you have these streets that are just purple. So it's
Hmm.
these big old trees that just burst out in purple flowers, and it's absolutely gorgeous sight to see.
And Pretoria is the place where you were born and raised?
No, actually, I'm from a small town in Limpopo province, a small farming mining town. Born there, grew up, and then I moved to Pretoria to study and stayed here ever since. It's been about 18 years that I've been in Pretoria now.
Wow, the same, almost, I mean, the same time that I've been in London as well.
Okay, okay.
And all your family, they are back in your hometown.
Yes, yes. My parents are in town's called Tabazimbi, so my parents are still in Tabazimbi, and my sister is actually in Ireland.
Ah,
Yes.
you have just one sister or you have other siblings as well?
Just her, just her.
Yeah.
The
And
one.
what do you do for work, for living, David?
I'm an industrial psychologist. That probably gonna require a bit of explaining.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit more about your career. You always wanted to be a psychologist.
Actually, it started out, I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. I wanted to go study clinical psychology. My dad kind of wanted me to do business management. And then we kind of found industrial psychology as a middle ground to do. And the more I studied it, and as I went on with my studies, I just grew to love it. And yeah, after school, I worked in the corporate sector for a few years,
Mhm.
but corporate wasn't really my thing. I found it a bit boring. And then I got the opportunity to join a practice where we mostly help people that have been injured and can't work anymore. So we help them to claim funds and money for them to be able to support themselves after they've been injured.
Amazing. Wow, amazing. Right. So before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Something interesting about myself. Okay. I think one of my favorite things about my history is I actually used to be a proofreader when I was studying and, well, when I was still busy with my studies and my internship and everything. I actually did proofreading, and I was able to, through connections and people that I met, I got in touch with some of the mainstream publishing houses, and I actually reviewed the proofread copies of books for authors from all around the world. Even wrote, not a lot, I think I wrote like four reviews that was actually published in magazines in London.
Wow. So tell me, what is a proofreading in person? What's that?
That's basically after a writer has written out their book, they send a few proofread copies to people such as what I did back then. And what we basically do is we read the book, see how it flows. Um, is everything okay with the book? Is the flow okay? Is it basically our opinion of how the book goes and how the story is and all of that type of stuff. And then we usually give some feedback to the publishing house. Sometimes we get to talk and work directly with the writers themselves as well. Just give our general feedback. And if they then want to change anything in the book before it gets published, then they do that.
Amazing. Very good. You just made my day now. I learned something new.
Okay.
David, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
I'm very excited to do so.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got him a best friend. Okay, full of wonderful questions. So I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Yes, you always can join me dancing. David, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Right.
Fine. Right, talking about books, which book had a big influence on you?
Which book? Let's see. I've read a lot of books, so let me think. I think one of the stories that probably, I'm sitting here looking at my special collection bookcase. I think one of the stories that probably hit me the deepest was a book called The Alchemist. I don't know if you've heard of it. It was very big many years ago.
Yes, of course. It's one of my favorite books, of course. It's Brazilian. Yeah. Yes.
No, that was probably a book. It's a very short book. It's not a very long story or anything, but I think just the message that that book carried about the character that went on this great journey to find what he was missing in life, and then at the end of the book he finds it where he started. I think that just, for me, that was a lesson to learn and just a meaningful impact in my life as well, that, you know what, you also need to find meaning where you are. You don't necessarily need to go explore the world to find something.
Absolutely. I've been asked on the show about what was my favorite book, and actually this one came to my mind straight away. I've read a quite a while ago, actually, and actually I think I'm going to read it again because, you know, sometimes in such a period of your life, you see the book in a different way. And yeah, it's been one of my favorite books for sure. Do you remember the first book that you ever read in your life? Do you remember or not?
The first book I ever read, I think that was a book. I cannot even remember what it was about, really. I was still very young. I was a small child. My mom taught me how to read from very early on, so I've been reading since I was like very young. The first book that I can remember reading was a book called, I think it was called Tonka, and it was about American Indians, but it was specifically about a horse. And the horse was called Tonka. But that is about the extent of what I can remember about the book.
And right now, are you reading something right now?
Right now, I am busy with two books. The one book that I'm reading is actually more on the soppy side. So it's the A Dark Touch trilogy about Hades and Persephone, the modern day take on that. And then I'm also busy reading the complete works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Amazing. Next question, David. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what is the best gift ever received and from whom?
The best gift I've ever received. Um, uh, Funny enough, the H.P. Lovecraft collection that I have is actually a gift that someone gave me. Um, but I think the best gift that I received was probably my Kenwood chef. So if you don't know what that is, it's a
No?
big fancy mixer. So I love cooking and baking and everything.
Wow.
And the Kenwood Chef is like one of the best machines that a general person can get. It basically it's a basic stand mixer, but you can get all kinds of attachments for it to do anything that you want with it, from processing food to making pasta to making ice cream. You can attach almost anything to it to do anything you want in the kitchen. So I think growing up, my mom had one, and I also grew up in the kitchen with her. She taught me how to cook and used it a lot, and it was always my desire to have one of my own when I was a grown up. And then I think when I was 26, my friends clubbed together and bought me one of those for my birthday. That's probably what my prized possession in the house.
Wow. And tell me, what do you like? What do you cook that your friends, they like the most?
Probably my desserts. I think one of the things that I love the most cooking wise is making desserts.
Mm-hmm.
So especially not like cake. Cake is easy and it's fine. I like exploring a bit. So I will make a cherry pie basically, and then I will go down to the basics. I will make the butter pastry myself. I will spend 7 hours folding and making the butter pastry, and I'll put the cherries myself. I'll cook them up, and I'll make them and everything. And I think my friends probably always say that the cherry pie that I make is the best one.
When I come to Pretoria for the very first time, I would like to try it.
I'll make for you.
Deal.
Deal.
Next question, let's do it. Before the next question, David, tell me, what do you like the most about your job? What's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
Okay. On the upside, I think on the one side, what I like about my job is the freedom that I get, because I get to work from home. I get to work on my own schedule. I can work wherever I want. So I can go lie on the beach if I want with my laptop and work there. So the freedom and flexibility that it gives me, I quite like. But at the same time, what I also quite enjoy is just meeting all of these people and talking to them and just discovering where they come from and what they used to do, but basically what they used to do, and just interacting with all these people on a personal level, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the downside, the part that I like the least is when I have to work with someone that's been really badly injured. That can get very heart-wrenching, especially if you're sitting with someone who's a paraplegic and they're sitting in a wheelchair and they can basically move a hand and speak, and that's all that they can do. And you have to talk with them and you listen to their story about this life that they had, and that life is over now. They're stuck in that chair. They can't do any of it anymore. I think that is the most difficult part about my job.
Question for you. As you mentioned, working, in these fields, we work with people, helping people, and helping them to maybe to understand more things or to get to a better place. Of course, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of, for you, I'm sure for you, you feel compassionate, put yourself in their shoes or try to understand more the journey. Personally for you, do you have, sometimes as you said, dealing with these situations, of course, it touches you somehow. You feel like, my goodness, I'm sure it's not easy for you. There is a way for you to kind of, protect yourself about that, like not to get yourself into, not to bring that to your personal life, even though you understand, you are there, you get involved as well. Do you find a way for you to kind of disconnect it about it?
I think on the one side, what you basically learn over the years is sometimes you just have to kind of make yourself hard a bit. You need to kind of not allow that to affect you too much, like just have thick skin at times. Sometimes it's really not easy when you have people that have been very injured. There have been times where I sat and I really had to hold back the tears just listening to it. But most of the time, you learn how to just have a thick skin. And I think especially some days, if I had a particularly hard case or a hard day, I think just coming home and escaping into your hobbies or something like that just helps to take your mind out of that and back to a nicer, better place and just recover from that type of strain.
Okay. Next question is, I'm not sure if I can see something there, but let's see. Would you ever get a tattoo, and what that would be?
Tattoo.
There we go.
I've actually got my chest here onto my shoulder. I've got a tattoo, and my back is also a big tattoo.
So tell me a little bit about your tattoos.
Okay, on my back, I have 2 phoenix tattoos that's somewhat intertwined. Those I basically got to represent what I always say is the 2 rebirths that I went through my life. It's the 2 big changes that I went through, accepting myself, growing as a person. They represent those 2 things. And the tattoo that I have here is basically, it's a clock, a big clock with a raven that's coming down onto the clock. And it basically just represents to an extent, my personal motto in life, which is time, and the raven being a harbinger of death, but not in a negative sense. What it means is, you know what, death is always coming, so don't waste your time, live your life. So that's what that basically symbolizes.
As you mentioned about a journey of accepting yourself, accepting who you are. Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay. Yeah, basically the 2 phoenix, the rebirth and everything. Part of that, what that represents for me is also my own coming out story, especially coming from a small town and a community, and in South Africa back then, being gay and everything was a big no-no. Coming from a family that was very anti-gay, very homophobic, I didn't accept myself for who I was for many years. I think the first time that I started acknowledging that I was actually gay was probably when I was about 23. And especially at that point, starting to accept that that is who I am, caused a lot of conflict, and trying to be who your parents and your friends and the society wants you to be versus who you know you're supposed to be. It brought me to a very dark place in my life. It brought me to a point where I didn't really know what to do anymore, where to go. And that kind of brought me to the decision of, you know what, I cannot go on like this. I need to just decide, what am I going to do going forward? And that was basically the point where I accepted myself for who I was and decided, you know what, I am gay. I'm going to live my life the way that I want to live my life. And after that, it was my one big rebirth, accepting myself and saying, you know what, I don't care what other people think. I don't need your approval. I am who I am. I'm going to live my life. And basically, at that point, my entire life started turning around.
Thanks for sharing. It's amazing. And when was the moment that you felt that? Did something happen, or you just felt like, you know what, from now on, I'm just gonna be my truly self. It doesn't matter the word out there. I'm just gonna follow my truly self. Did something happen, or just felt like just like that?
At that point in my life, I was busy doing my master's at that point, busy writing my thesis. So I spent a lot of time in my apartment. I had a very small apartment at that point. And it was basically, I can still kind of remember it. It all started with friends of us going to watch a show, a local singer that's also gay, and during this show, she told her coming out story, and there was just a lot that resonated with me. And after that, I was sitting at home one night, busy working on my thesis, and I remember it was dark. I had a small light on, it was a dark room, and I was just not happy. I was not in a happy space. I was not happy, and I just realized, I can't keep going on like this. I need to make a choice to decide what I'm going to do going forward.
Yeah, those moments, I think it's such a natural thing to happen to us. Sometimes you just feel it. You just, you just feel like, you know what, it's time now. This strength just coming from somewhere. You just feel brave enough. You just kind of, okay, let me be my truly self. And again, it's not an easy journey to start with, but I think, you just need to face it. You just need to, somehow find a way. Of course, it's not easy because of a lot of reasons, society, family, religion, politics, a lot of things involved. But I think all of us, we, different circumstances, we just find our own way and just go like, you know what, let me be my truly self. And the right people will stay, the wrong people maybe would go, or maybe they're going to work on themselves first, and I'm going to be my truly self. And I think that's the best way. Yeah.
Yes.
Next question. Let's do it. Hey, David from South Africa. Next question is, what do you like the most about yourself?
What do I like the most about myself? I think I'd probably say the one thing that I learned through this whole discovering myself and starting to accept myself, and being a psychologist as well, I see how other people view life and view things, and I understand how other people think and experience life. And something that I learned and became a part of me that I sometimes wished I could impart to other people and help them learn that ability is to just be relaxed and don't stress and don't be bothered with the rest of the world. Don't be bothered with other people's opinions and what they think about you and all of that. Just enjoy yourself in your own life. I know many people have said to me that something that they admire about me is how I'm just not stressed by anything. If something happens, I just take it and I go on with it. I always say to people, there's no point in stressing. It doesn't help you. It's not going to solve the situation. It's not going to change the situation. The situation is the way it is. Take it and run with it.
Actually, you come across a calm person. You come across, and I was thinking maybe because your profession, you kind of know how to deal with that. But I have this feeling that you come across as a very chilled person. Am I right?
Yes, no. My partner usually says it can get quite annoying sometimes that everything just doesn't bother me.
What's your star sign?
Sagittarius.
Actually, my second one is Sagittarius. My first one is Scorpio. My second one, December.
Okay, I'm actually also there. I'm at cusp. So I'm 22nd of November. So right on the cusp of Scorpion and Sagittarius.
Oh, I'm 17 of November. I'm 17.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you something. Somebody told me once that Sagittarius, compared with the other star sign, they have the biggest heart.
I've heard that too. Now that you say 17, that's actually my sister's birthday as well.
17th of November?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You know what? I've been doing the show for the last 2 years, and I had 3 guests on the show that I find out that through the conversation, we find out that we share the same birthday. But you're the first one who just mentioned that your sister is 17th of November. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I like her. For some reason now I like her. I understand her.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ready for another question?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next one. David's next question is, what is the soundtrack of your life and why?
Soundtrack of my life. I think whenever I think about a song that had an impact on me, that shall I say, inspires me sometimes, calms me sometimes, gives me motivation, it just has that type of impact on me. And it's not actually my favorite style of music or anything like that. It's just a song that resonated with me. Was long ago, Sarah Brightman, the singer, she had a song called The Journey Home. And just the one part of the chorus in that song says, the journey home is never too long. And just the lyrics of that song, I find it almost elicits a sense of calmness, but also adventure and motivation. It's difficult for me to say. The song just kind of, it makes you feel good. If you feel depressed, it makes you feel better. If you're feeling overloaded, it just helps you calm down. So I think that is probably the song or the music that's the closest to it. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, next question is, what was your worst wardrobe mistake?
I don't know if I say there's necessarily a worst wardrobe mistake, but if I look back on my photos from 15 years ago, 20 years ago, then there's definitely those moments where I'm like, I can't believe I wore that. Just like the style from back then. It's just like, no, I can't believe I wore that clothes.
It's true.
Yeah, especially there was, at a distant point in my past, there was a fake leather button shirt, and there was a t-shirt that had shiny tinsel woven into it.
Yes, I think all those, sometimes when you go through, thank God that time there was not Facebook, Instagram, you're not sharing those things, because sometimes you're like, oh God, where was I with my head to wear those trousers or those t-shirts or something. And tell me, when you think about your childhood, back in your hometown, what is the best memory that comes to your mind?
I think the best memory of my childhood, and the thing that I missed the most about then, was probably family and seeing and spending lots and lots of time with family.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was young, family was a big part of um, my life. Um, Especially on my mom's side, she has a huge family with lots of aunts and lots of uncles and cousins and everything. And everybody would come together and just have a good time very regularly. And my grandmother lived down the road. I could get on my bike and go to my grandmother. Um, Aunts and cousins were close by. Uh, Family holidays, everybody would go together on family holidays. Um, Whereas now, and as I grew up and moved away and everything, it's kind of the family got left behind. There isn't really a lot of family close to where I am. So just that seeing family and that interaction with family, I do miss that.
Your partner is from Pretoria or not?
Yes, yes.
From Pretoria.
He's born and raised Pretoria boy.
Tell me who in your family you are more close to.
Definitely my mom.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. No, growing up, my dad was an entrepreneur, so he had a lot of small businesses
Mm-hmm.
that he would run. So he was often out the door very early in the morning, only got home late. And that kind of put a big break on my relationship with my father. So most of my time was spent with my mother. And as I've also said, she taught me how to read from very young, cooking. We did a lot of stuff. So I think, and also over the years, being mother and son eventually became, she's one of my best friends at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We talk very regularly, message each other daily, phone calls at least twice a week. So definitely my mom.
I can see her watching this interview right now and smiling, proud of you.
No, we definitely look a lot the same as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
Between me and my mother.
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference, my mom is probably a lot more quiet and reserved. As quiet and reserved as as quiet as I am as an introvert, my mom is very much more quiet and reserved. So I will very easily go on an adventure or go do something where she's the one that's going to sit on her chair and drink her cup of tea. Yeah. And the similarity, the biggest similarity for me is probably kind-hearted, because that's probably the thing in my mom that I admire the most. She is a incredibly soft, caring, loving person. I mean, she will pull out when she needs to pull out. But apart from that, she's a very soft, kind person. I think you will be hard pressed to find anybody that can say anything negative about her. So, and for me, that's something that I admire about her very much. And it's something that I try to live out as well. Always be kind and caring to other people.
It's so interesting because, being gay, male gay guy, we have so much connection with our mom for some reason. Not most of the time, but like most of the gay guys, we have this connection with them somehow, this, female figure with their kind, they kind of somehow they are by our side and we feel protected, I think. Yeah, it's a beautiful bond, like a beautiful bond between mom and son. Yeah.
Yes.
3 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay.
Before the next one, when I was checking your profile, there was a phrase there that got my attention. It says there, I am who I am and what life has shaped me into. This phrase for you, it means it's regarding your, your truly self, about your experience as a gay guy.
I think that phrase is basically about everything. Um, I, for me, the the thing is, like I say, I am who I am, and what life shaped me into, and by that I mean everything that has happened in my life. Um, I think that was also part of the whole self-discovery and accepting yourself is learning how to accept not just the good things that has happened in life, but also the bad things and the negative things. I mean, if it comes to that question that we always hear people ask, like, if you could go back in time and change one thing or not do something, um, I'm honestly at the point in life where I don't want to change anything in my past because all of those things, including and probably especially the bad things,
Mm-hmm.
shaped me into who I am today. And I think especially the bad things in life taught me what I don't want in life. And if I didn't learn what I don't want, then I wouldn't know what to chase after now.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think all of us, I mean, we should be grateful for those bad times because most of the time, that's how you learn about things as well. We don't see the message straight away because we are, sad or angry or, what I mean, disturbed for some reason. But when you look back, you go like, you know what? Now I understand why I went through that. And that's when you feel grateful. I think those
Yes.
places, even though it's not easy to deal with, but
Yeah.
they are powerful. They are powerful, and because when you learn as well being happy, there, but you learn a different way. You just
Yeah.
accept it, just go for it. But when we are the other side, it's not easy. But sometimes I think growing up right now, I when I'm there for some reason, somehow I think about my God, what this situation is trying to teach me or what I'm gonna learn with the situation. I always wonder that, and somehow makes me
Mhm.
feel a little bit more calm about the
Mhm.
situation because it
Yeah.
will pass. It will pass
Yes.
some
Yes.
at some point. And I always wondering, okay, I'm going through that now. So what's gonna be the come out of it? What's going to be? And it makes me a little bit more calm and I feel the pain a little bit less.
Yes. Yes.
Next question for you is, what are the top 3 things on your bucket list?
Top three things on my bucket list. Um, let's see. One of the things that's still on my bucket list that I want to do is I would love to go watch a Broadway show on Broadway. Um,
Right?
so that's one thing that's still on my bucket list that I want to do. Um, I want to. So it's a difficult question. I try to keep my bucket list short, and I replace the stuff only as I do them. And I like ticking off my bucket list. One of the things is seeing a show on Broadway. I want to still have like a proper beach holiday, like the full-on luxury one that you always see in the ads, where people are lying back on their on the beaches and everything. That's something that I want to do. It's still on my bucket list. And a third one that's still on my bucket list is probably that I also want to eventually get to it, but write a book myself.
Wow. I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting book because, as you know, you've been reading a lot of books, you've got a lot of experience, I'm sure. Tell me which one would be the first one to happen between those 3.
Uh, First one will probably be the beach holiday, the proper beach holiday, because we
Uh-huh.
are busy planning it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very good. Two questions left. Let's do it. There you go. Right, before the next question, David, tell me, if I'll come to Pretoria for the very first time, let's see, I'm coming for a long weekend. What is a must? Which place it's a must, I should visit, I should go? What's the postcard of Pretoria, in your opinion?
Usually, I'd ask you what you're into first of all, so that I send you in the right direction in terms of it, nightlife, if it's history, if it's nature, that type of stuff. But for me personally, if
Mhm.
you talk about that, then I would probably say nature. I would point you to some of the best hikes that's close to Pretoria that you can do. That's one thing that we love doing. So at least twice a month, we drive off somewhere into nature and go have a nice hike. Especially year around year, and especially after a rainy season,
Mhm.
then some of the nature hikes that we have here is absolutely gorgeous. You get those proper Instagram photos that you see with the mountain and the rivers and the rock pools, and you can dive into those rock pools and just lie in the sun. We've got them here. You can definitely do it here. So that's probably the number one thing that I'll point you to.
Wow. Are you more close to Cape Town or to Johannesburg?
Johannesburg. Pretoria and Johannesburg is basically sister cities. You
Okay.
can travel between them well, you can get to Joburg in probably like half an hour easy.
Okay, it's quite close.
Yes.
Okay. Next question is, did you have an imaginary friend as a child, and what was their name?
I did have an imaginary child. My parents still like to tease me about it. Um, So Tabazimbi, to give you a bit of context, Tabazimbi, like I said, it's a small town, it's a farming town, but it's by the mountains.
Mhm.
So, and my parents, especially their place, is about 15 minutes out of the town, halfway up on the mountain. And there's a lot of wildlife there. So there's a lot of bucks. Um, there's a leopard there that sometimes walks by the house. There's all kinds of animals there, and naturally, of course, a lot of baboons and a lot of monkeys.
Wow.
So when I was a kid, for some reason, I had an imaginary friend that was a monkey. So
Wow.
that was I don't think it had a name. I cannot remember if it had a name. But yes, my imaginary friend was a monkey that would go everywhere with me.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, wow. Amazing. Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Last question. Let's do it. But before the last question, people watch the interview right now. They would like to start a career in psychology, to become a psychologist. Yeah. What would be your best piece of advice?
Um, I think my advice to someone that wants to go into psychology would probably be not to lose touch of yourself. Because I think one of our big mistakes or one of our big trips that we tend to fall over is um, that we forget to take care of our own psychological state. We are constantly faced with other people, their problems, and we develop a thick skin in order to cope with it and to help other people. But we forget to turn that around, and also those techniques and the advice we give them, we forget to apply that to ourselves. And then you get surprised when you become overwhelmed. Mm.
Wow.
But
Amazing.
it's a great, it's honestly, it's great to see how you affect people and how you help people, but don't forget about yourself.
Very good advice. I really like that. Last question for you is, what is the happiest day in your life so far and why you consider that?
Happy. I think personally, for me, in terms of family, um, the happiest day that I had was when my family fully accepted me for who I am. Because, like I said, I came from a very homophobic town and everything. And especially my father, he made like a very 180-degree turn on the whole, went from being anti-gay to supporting my life choices and all of that. And I think one of the days that made me the happiest, and especially I think made my connection to my father stronger again, was the day that he actually stood up for my life choices, where other people were talking nonsense about gay people, and he actually was the one that stood up and said, "No, stop. You've got no right to speak about people like that. That was their life choices." And I think that just kind of, for me, coming from where I came and now suddenly seeing my father like that, it just it brought about a sense of pride and love and comfort, and just made everything feel so much better just to see that change and experience that.
Amazing. I think, you know, knowing, having someone so close to us, supporting us somehow, it's a big comfort. And as you said, even though in the beginning they didn't accept it, but as you said, suddenly just turn around everything. It makes it even more powerful. You know what I mean? It make you feel even more safer about it. I think it's great. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with family.
Mom.
Money.
Easy.
Okay. Life.
Love.
And one word for love.
Sorry?
And one word for love.
One word for love. Comfort.
Sex.
Fun.
Politics.
Boring.
Religion.
Difficult.
Fear.
Fear. What word goes with shaking your head?
Okay.
Fear. Yeah. Don't.
Okay. Friendship.
Important.
Desire.
Desire. Romance.
Okay. Regret.
Don't.
Success.
Friends.
Wish.
Waiting for a word to pop into my head. Wish. Fun.
Okay. Happiness.
Happiness. Joy.
One word for Pretoria.
Relaxing.
One word for South Africa.
Colorful.
Wow. One word for Nelson Mandela.
Inspiring.
And the last one now, psychologist, one word.
Emotional.
Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your partner for a coffee and I'm going to ask him, what is the most beautiful thing about David and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What your partner would say?
What I need to work on, he will most likely say, he will most likely say the number one thing that I should work on still is communication, but that is not in a not necessarily in a negative sense, because he tends to get annoyed because I'm very introverted. I don't talk much at all, and I will often try to use as little amount of words as possible to get something, and then he doesn't always understand or get it, and then he gets annoyed. So communication in that regard, to learn to talk more and say more. He often says to me, learn to use your words. So that's probably the one thing that he will say. And the one thing that you said, what was the other question?
The most beautiful thing about you.
He's one of the people that often says to me, or that's also often said that what he admires about me is that I'm so calm and relaxed and I don't let other things bother me or get to me.
If I would ask the same question to your lovely mom, it would be the same answer?
My mom, on the good thing, she will probably also say that. She often says that what she admires about me is the fact that I don't let others, well, her words are usually that I don't allow life to stop me, I go. And I'm not sure what she would say as a negative.
You are the mom, you are her boy, her little boy, so she never would find something negative for sure.
Yes.
Let's play now, David, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it. But before you ask me the question, tell me what's your favorite Afrikaans word?
Troeteldier.
Which means?
I'll show you.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Who is that?
This is Bella. She's lying here by my chair, by the chair in her bed. But yes, it's basically the Afrikaans word for pet. So I'd actually more directly, well, roughly, it actually translates troetel being cuddle.
Oh. So, yeah. How old is Bella?
She's the old lady of the house. She's 13 now.
13. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, David, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. So, what I actually wanted to ask you is, if you were stuck on an island and you had to have one thing with you, but this is not a survival thing. This is just one thing that you want to have with you on that island. What would that be and why?
I love the question. And the first thing that came to my mind is, you know what? I would take a stranger with me. A person that I never met, I never seen before. You know why? because this person could become my best friend. This person could become a lover, could become, a partner, could become just someone who maybe I've learned some lessons or some things that maybe we're not going to connect anymore. But I would love to have a stranger with me, someone who I never seen before, I never talked before. And, just to see what would come out of this adventure, So yes, I think I'll take a stranger with me for sure.
Okay.
Totally stranger.
Okay. Possibilities.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that because, sometimes, for example, here on the show, connect with people, like I'm literally connect with someone who I never met before. Like I'm connecting with you right now, and such powerful thing because, talking to you, we are exchanging energy, we're exchanging information, we are exchanging knowledge, we're exchanging emotions, we're exchanging a lot of things. And I think it's powerful. And I feel so grateful that, I've been connected with so many people around the globe because somehow, for example, when I finished the interview, it's not finished for me. I still keep thinking, about the person, about the topics we talk about it. And again, we just made memories right now, literally made memories. Imagine like in 10, 20 years time, we watch this interview, you're going to go like, oh my God, that's amazing. The points of view I had before in the past, or I still, think the same way. We exchange a lot of, memories. And I think it's amazing to do that. So imagine going to an island with a totally stranger, and what would happen. So yes, I'd love to have this challenge, and I would love to have this adventure for sure. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
Good. Did you enjoy the interview, David?
No, I did. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thanks for being so open, and sharing your life, your challenges. And again, people watching the interview right now, they appreciate because you never know who is watching. And sometimes people, they might be facing the same situation and just hear someone talking so open about it. I think it's comforting, it helps. And it just makes us understand that we're not alone out there. There are so many people sharing the same challenges, or maybe the same happiness, or maybe, the same stories. And I think that's what life's about. It's about for us to understand that we are not alone out there. There are a lot of people, you're literally, so far away. And, it's just about sharing life experiences. So thanks so much for taking the time and for being so open. But
thank you very much for inviting me and reaching out and everything.
Absolutely, you're very sweet. Since the first time when I reach you, you're very sweet, very very kind, and yes, amazing. I think it's great. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
I think from my side, and I mentioned it previously as well, if the most important thing for me, and the thing that I always like to impart on other people, is just the concept and the idea that, don't care so much about other people's opinions. Live your life. And I mean that word by word. Live your life. Do the things that you want to do. If you want to eat that chocolate, eat that chocolate. If you want to read that book, read it. If you want to stay in bed late today, stay in bed late. If you want to wear a flamboyant shirt today, and that's going to make you feel amazing about yourself, then do that. Stop worrying and caring so much about other people.
Absolutely. The voice out there can be very loud, but makes your voice louder than that. So, just embrace yourself, live the best you can. As you said, anything, whatever you feel like doing, just do it. You are just pleasing yourself. You are the one in charge of the boat, which is your life. So you are the one in charge of it. So, do it. You can, you can do it. Thank you so much. Regard to your partner, to your mom, to your sister who shared the same birthday as me. My goodness, I'm gonna remember that right now. What's her name?
Sonia.
Sonia. I always remember that, okay? We share the same birthday. Thank you so much and keep in touch, okay, David? It was a pleasure.
Will
Okay.
do. Have a wonderful Friday.
You too. Take care.
And
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.